Well, hey friends, it's Katie here with For the Love of Leftovers, and we are busy today cleaning up the house. So if you're into that kind of thing, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, get notified anytime a new video comes out. We had a very crazy weekend. This past weekend was Father's Day, and just kind of doing a lot of outside things. We had a lot of things that we had to get taken care of. So now we are facing a heat wave this week. Today is supposed to be pretty nice. It's supposed to be in the 70s. And then the rest of the week is supposed to be like upper 90s to 100, which if you know anything about Maine, that is crazy pants. So my plan is, and we have a very large house and very open, so it can be kind of tough to keep it cool. So what I'm going to do today is have the windows wide open so that we can enjoy the fresh air, but also I want to do everything I can to clean up the house today so that way tomorrow and the rest of the week, hopefully, we can just kind of like relax and chill, and you know, try and not get too hot. So another big thing that's happening is today is the last day of school for my kids. So I also want to come up with some fun activities for them to do this week because you know, first week is going to be rough. They're going to be bored. They're definitely going to get more screen time than usual. Yeah, but I want to be able to find some other activities, some other fun things for them to do. And I think we need to go to the grocery store at some point. I have 3 bananas. That's not gonna last us. Yeah, all right, let's just start getting into it. And yes, I'm wearing super fancy clothes. I'm just kidding, but this is real life for me, so I'm just taking you along. So forgive the wardrobe malfunctions that you are bound to see. All right, let's get into it. So for me, some people like to start with, you know, collecting all the trash in one area first, or, you know, doing things like that. For me, what helps me with quickly organizing and tidying a space is to find the area with the least amount of clutter and get that completely done and then move on to the next one. Because then I kind of start piling things and I can see the progress quickly take shape. So in case you're wondering why I do what I do, it makes sense for my brain. How is it that you clean? Do you have any tips or tricks? Because I mean, I feel like my day just fully consists of cleaning, just all the time, always cleaning. Do you clean as you go throughout the day like that, or do you tend to let it wait until a certain time of day, or maybe even setting an alarm, or like how do you clean? What seems to work best for your family? I feel like I always want to try those, like, you know, setting a 10-minute timer or doing it at certain times during the day, but then I end up just cleaning all day. And I mean, I guess that's part of a homemaker's job, is to just constantly improve the house. But there's some days that I feel like, okay, I got nothing done except for cleaning, and that's definitely not what I want my days to consist of on the regular. And especially with homeschooling coming up this fall, I know that I'm not going to be able to clean all the time. And so setting that expectation for myself is really important, trying to make sure that my head is right when it comes to that, because I'm a person that doesn't like clutter, and I like for the counters especially to be clean, and it's really hard for me to focus on other things if the environment I'm in is really dirty or really disheveled. And I know that I'm going to have to just kind of deal with some of that when it comes to homeschooling this fall, because I'm not going to be able to do it all. And so obviously my kids and my husband help out as well, but you know, if my kids are doing homeschool or if my kids are outside playing as I've told them to, then
they're not inside helping, and Travis works, so he's, exhausted when he comes home, or he's not home during the day. So during the day, I'm still the one that's doing all the cleaning. So finding those rhythms and those routines are really important, as well as staying in a place of gratitude and reminding myself, we're lucky to have this big, beautiful kitchen, and we're lucky to have all these little mouths to feed, and have all these jars and all these dishes, and because all these dishes means all this food, and the constant cleanup means these bellies are constantly getting fed, and just simple little reminders to myself, little changes of the grumbling, trying to remind myself not to grumble about having to clean up and taking care of these babies that I prayed for, and things like that. It's we all have our days and our moments, of course, but being able to kind of get back into a headspace of just gratitude really can just help to shift the atmosphere and make those tasks a bit more enjoyable. I'm definitely finding myself more in a place or a season of reflection right now. I don't know if it's just because it's summer or what the deal really is, but noticing the things that we use, and more so the things that we don't, and trying to get into a space of decluttering or simplifying. I don't know. I mean, I feel like my husband and I have had this conversation with 8 people living in this house, and with an open concept style of a house, like there's only so much that you're ever going to be able to do for clutter and for simplifying. 8 people means 8 people's worth of stuff, right? So there's just constantly stuff. There's constantly clothes. There's constantly toys. There's constantly, seasons changing. So eggs out on the counter or produce out on the counter. There's dishes in the sink. Bridging that gap between expectation and reality is really important in these types of seasons where you're kind of evaluating and reevaluating things. Like I cleaned this kitchen and organized it and got rid of a bunch of things, and so now we actually have multiple empty drawers and cubbies, but that doesn't necessarily change the things that are visual on the day-to-day. So making sure I can bridge that gap of my expectations from Instagram or Pinterest or just, motherly daydreams, bridging that gap between the expectation and the reality of 6 kids, 8-person family, lots of stuff that does serve us every day, and of course getting rid of the things that don't.
Okay, I am all out of cleaner, so I figured I'd show you how to make cleaner real quick. And this is not anything crazy. I'm sure you've seen something exactly like this online. So I've got distilled vinegar. It's got to be at least 5%. And I am filling half of this glass bottle with vinegar. Don't mind the dog and the kids. I'm going to add a little bit of Dawn dish soap. And then I'm going to add lavender essential oil is what I want this time. I'm actually going to add a little bit of lemongrass too. Usually I switch between eucalyptus and lemongrass, but I found my lavender while cleaning the other day. So we're going to add some lavender and a few drops of lemongrass. We'll save eucalyptus for another time. And now we're going to fill the rest of it with warm water. Just going to give it a shake. And it's ready to go.
I love being able to have that cleaner. I really do. I like being able to just quickly whip it up and not have to worry about whether I need to go to the store to get cleaner. Every now and then, like when we get really sick, for example, about a month ago, we all got the flu really bad. I was going to the store and I was getting bleach and I was bleaching things and getting them super clean. But I love having just this homemade vinegar cleaner on hand. It makes me feel really good about cleaning around my kids.
Okay, we've got one area of the house cleaned up and put away. So that makes me feel a little bit better. This is, you know, the hub of the house, so having this tidied up is super helpful. And as you can hear, the kids need to go jump on the trampoline. So let's go do that. So yesterday, on Father's Day, my dad came over and I had been asking him to help me fix up the porch because Travis just has not had time, and granted my dad hasn't had time either. But they came over yesterday for a impromptu barbecue for Father's Day, and he made us made it so that the gates actually stay latched, stay locked. He made us a gate because one of them got absolutely destroyed. So now I have a really beautiful coming together. We've still got things that need to get like put away and taken care of. My mom helped me get all of my seedlings into the garden yesterday, so this can now get put elsewhere, so that will free up some space as well. But I now have a really beautiful welcoming deck area, and we sat out here last night and had burgers. We got the lawn all taken care of yesterday. That was my job. I mowed the lawn and Travis did some weed whacking and my oldest son did some weed whacking as well. So now we have like a much more kid-friendly yard and mama happy yard, I guess. let me show you. I'm so grateful and so in love with it this morning. Yeah, I can't wait to see like what else we're gonna do. Like these. Okay, let me turn you around. Okay, so that's the opening to the house. So Travis made me these little planter shelves a year or so ago, and so these just fit perfectly and they just sit there, right? So I need to get something planted into those. I need to find my other one and get it over there once this thing gets moved out of the way. And I'm not sure if we'll keep the cooler there or not. Probably not. So we have that cooler that'll probably get moved to the van. Take care of that shelf and all the planting materials. Then we've got a barbecue, some kid toys, these little Adirondack chairs we got just at the local grocery store. My green stalks looking amazing. Our mouse trap that we need to get rid of. JJ now knows how to go down the stairs by himself for the most part. We got the lawn all cleaned up. This was looking like a stinking jungle out here. Like, I kid you not. It was it was crazy. But got that all cleaned up, so now they have a nice clear path going to the trampoline and the swing set. Everything's looking good. And then over here we have a little table for the kids to eat at. I need to get these other plants in the ground and maybe figure out what to do with those white potted ones. Those are kind of meant to stay in those pots, so we'll see. So then we have our table here, which needs to be redone. This was left by the previous owners, and so were these chairs. But I mean, it works for now. We used to house our wood for the winter under there. We would do loads every week. We're not doing that, so I think we're gonna get rid of that thing. So a little bit of tidying up still needs to be done here, but I am just so happy. We've got a working gate, and then the brand new gate, and it's got a nice latch on it. Perfect, right? And just a couple of D-rings help to keep it all shut and in place. And clearly the next thing that I need to do is have my dad or Travis make some little tables, like some sensory tables, some outside sensory ones. Thinking shavings would be good. What else? Maybe, I mean, they have a sand box, but maybe some sand, maybe an empty one for water. What else would you put in a sensory bin? I don't think rice would be a good idea, but some things that are like cheap and able to be kind of bulk purchase, like I can get those bales of shavings cheap and we can, you know, dispose of them easily when they get gross. Let me know your thoughts. And my mom and I picked all of these peonies from my garden yesterday. Aren't they just stunning? And they smell amazing. I'm really trying to do better about actually picking my flowers because my garden is very much out of sight. So I don't get to enjoy them. My garden is actually up behind that tree. So I don't get to go up and enjoy it as much as I would like to. So I'm making it purposeful to cut them and bring them up here. These are those darling flowers in the white pots. Can't really put them on the ground because they look a little weird if I put these like on the ground in one of the corners. I would need to get like a bigger, taller pot, but that's just no money for that. This was a fig tree. These were fig trees like last year. I don't think they made it.
And as you can see, it comes time to take the apron off, put on a clean shirt, and get going on the laundry this day. I had mountains of laundry. I like the idea of doing laundry every day, but it just never works out for me. It usually ends up being that I am doing laundry one time a week and I'm doing a monster pile of it. And again, that's just kind of the season that we're in right now, and I'm learning to be okay with it because this is kind of when I get my quiet time. This is usually when the kids are napping or playing quietly, nicely. I'll bring up the clothes during nap time and then I'll fold them, put them away and things like that when they're actually awake. And this is the time I get to, do things like cleaning eggs and watching YouTube and, all those little mama side jobs of a homemaker. And then, of course, when the kids finally did get home, it was a beautiful day out, so we went outside to just enjoy it. And I enjoy you being here, and I thank you so much for the time spent together, and I look forward to seeing you next time.